Welcome, everyone. I'm here today with Melvin Phan. Welcome, Melvin.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for inviting me today.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I'd love to just dive into your story. And for everyone that is brand new to you, I just thought I'd give them a little heads up about a couple of things that you've been up to. So, you are the founder of JJPH Group and you specialize in digital transformation projects. And I know you've had, I think it's over $500 million worth of projects under your belt at this stage, and you have a team with over 20 years of combined experience in the project management space. So, you haven't just sort of shown up here after day one of being in this business. Happy Melbourne.
No, no. I've basically been in the industry for over 2 decades now. So it's been a long, long time. And during that period of time, it's very much about building your reputation and brand. And I was very, privileged to, work on some really high complex and value programming projects as well. And I guess, yeah, from that, I guess that's where the reputation to build there as well. So yeah, it's been very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, amazing. And I know you've worked with some really big brands like New South Wales Treasury and AMP Group, and you've, like you said, had a couple of decades in the industry. Can you talk us through a little bit around just how you got started in business and what that kind of decision was like around wanting to be in your own business?
Yeah, so I guess as mentioned before, been in the industry for over 2 decades, working with large clientels, and managed to build, I guess, a little reputation in the scheme of things. And because of that reputation, a lot of, I guess, personal network has been developed as well. And they normally come to me, go, hey, Melvin, can you come in and or can you help me to find a really good high caliber resources to help me deliver some complex program of work. And it's how it started. It started purely from, mates or friends who I worked with in the past who sort of trust me and then what I can
Yeah.
deliver. And yeah, and then slowly it moved into more of a business. And the reason I started doing the business is when I start seeing the opportunities where people, start to rely on me and start in my team. And that's when I start making the decision, hey, there's actually a real potential here to create something out of this.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's how the whole business ownership started.
Fantastic. And how did you feel at that point? You were starting to do some external projects. You were kind of maybe sort of leaving that comfort zone bubble of just being in the day-to-day in the corporate space. What was that like for you?
I find it extremely, in the beginning, is actually quite nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
Letting go and trusting someone, use under your brand, in your company,
Mm.
and delivering the service to the client.
Mm.
In the beginning, it was quite difficult, not, getting involved and making sure they can do things.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, so one of the lessons learned, probably let go of that kind of piece for me, was
Mm.
probably more daunting part. As you probably know me, Amy, I'm quite a detail-driven kind of person as well, and process. So I'm very much into that level of detail,
Yeah.
and probably letting go of some of those processes is quite hard at the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, because there's quite a few sort of, unknowns when you first start business. Like you don't have any guarantees it's going to work. You don't have any sort of big corporate brand backing behind you. Like it's just your own brand and you're out there. And like you said, it's up to you to deliver and it's up to you to sell your services as well. And so, yeah. And how did you kind of manage to get through that? You said that you started to like let go of some of those processes. So tell me a little bit more around what that journey was like for you and how it kind of built the momentum.
Yeah, so definitely, when at the initial phase, when a couple of people reach out to me, for those very senior role, program level, and delivering large complex for them as well.
Mm.
In the beginning, I really wanted to make sure that I'm on the top of what they're doing. I want to make sure that I'm actually part of the conversations, the decision making, as well. And what it really, over the beginning was actually quite tiresome, and actually, it drained a lot of my resource and my time as well. Is involved
Mm.
in that level, and not really bring much benefits to them either. I'm actually getting in the way of their achievement, to be honest. And then, yeah, so for me, in order to do that, I need to move back a fair bit, create a more of a process that how I can, making sure that I'm getting the visibility and assurance from the team, but then allow them the flexibility to, to do what they can do with our client as well. That to
Mm.
me, yeah, it's definitely, making sure there's a process internally, yeah, and the design it accordingly to fit my needs.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that's a key lesson that I took off from the beginning of my journey.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Tell me a little bit around, sort of getting that momentum in the business and what you're really enjoying doing now that you've got this up and running, you've got a team behind you.
I started last year, and it came to the point where refer friends. It's
Yep.
sort of I guess it's I maxed out my refer friends already,
Mm,
and I was at a stage where I'm like I've done so many online courses, I've done so many courses about how to grow your business and all that kind of thing.
mm,
And then, I come to the point where I said, actually, I need professional help. And then that's probably the both of us started the initial conversation. And me, I'm quite skeptic in things, and really helping guide me there. But I guess go back to what do I love about what I do, because the sort of program we work on, the different clientels, varies dramatically. And one of the things that we love the most is probably every project is unique in the way
mhm.
it deliver, and then seeing the real tangible benefits of what we work on have been achieved, and
Mm.
the impact, the positive impact it make as well
Yeah.
to those organizations. I think that's a really key part, and I think that's where the uniqueness of project management, you see the beginning to the end, and the
Mm,
outcome from that as well.
mm.
So yeah, that's something I like most.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. I think that's great. And to your point, I remember that first conversation we had in Melbourne, and it's really, really normal and natural, I think, to feel quite skeptical when you've, already invested so much time and energy and resources and bandwidth into other courses and programs and mentors and, all sorts of things, and kind of haven't had the proven results yet from LinkedIn specifically, or being on social media before and seeing the results firsthand. It's really normal and natural to feel a little bit skeptical when, someone's there saying, hey, look, this is what actually can happen, and this is how it works. And so what was sort of I guess the thoughts sort of going through your mind at that stage? What were you, I guess, sort of worried about in terms of, when it started to grow your online presence, and when you're looking at those different avenues, what were some of the things that you were tossing up in your mind?
And yeah, you know me well. I mean, when I first started with you, I'm not a type person that like to share my personal kind of life online,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably one of my biggest sort of stumbling block, just to
Mm,
overcome that fear factors and the unknown factors.
mm-hmm.
But I then thought to myself, you know what, I have to grow the business. You have to do, take some risks and put yourself out there to make success out of it. So yeah, so I think that's where I think I'll make the key decision, just to go ahead and just try it out and see how we go. And then so yeah, so I think that's where it all started there.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually an introvert myself, Melvin. And so most people don't really see that, or get that, because they just see what they see online. But, I think there's an importance, like you said, to sort of take some risks in order to grow your business and push yourself outside
Yeah.
of your comfort zone to do that. So I'd love to hear, like, well, how was that experience for you, when you did start to reveal a little bit more of Melvin online, or just share a little bit more around the work you're doing?
So first of all, I couldn't say how good you are. Yeah, I think yeah, I think I think in working with you in the very first week, at the very beginning, I'm like, okay, let's have a go and see how, what kind of thing. And then I started to do some couple of posts on LinkedIn. And then what I realized actually, that mindset about, judging by other people and other stuff like that is really shouldn't be a big problem at all.
Mm,
And I think, yeah, following your process and framework really help
mm,
give me the ideas. So one of the things that I always noticed with LinkedIn is that how do we create really engaging content? How do we make sure that, you talk to the message you convey to your audience is the right message as well? And I think your framework and guidance really supportive, and that I guess give me a lot of guidance.
yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the things that probably you make, I guess, myself be more confident and then be more assured on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the our one-on-one. You always give me a chock full of nuggets, gold nuggets. That's what I call it. Some ideas, some insight.
Yeah.
So yeah. For me, it's a real changer in a way.
Yeah, awesome. And I think, it's been great to see your growth and your confidence grow in this arena as well. And I think there's many different reasons why people might want to look at LinkedIn for their business. It might be a brand awareness, it might be, sort of re-engaging some of their existing network, maybe reviving their profile that's been collecting some internet dust. You never really know. But I think one of the key reasons is they want to get, real business results. And so there's many ways you can use social media around, like, growing a massive following, trying to be famous, all of those sorts of things. But I think when it comes to business, most of us are there to, make sure that we see a return for our time and effort. So I'd love to sort of hear from you, like, what do you think have been sort of the biggest impacts for you in terms of the business and the return on investment for you?
Oh, To me was the biggest surprise for me was within 6 weeks of our course together, I got a phone call, or one afternoon, I think, from a large blue chip ASX listed company. The group CFO saw my post about digital transformation or whatever like that, and he basically asked one of his direct report to contact me to come back on to be one of the critical transformation program. It's worth over $40 million.
Mm-hmm.
For us, for me, it's a small business, stuff like that. This is a huge win, and it's really validate the content, the engagement, and people actually really read your post. Even though you don't think they are, they really read it and make it relatable.
Yeah.
So to me, yeah, that was a huge win. And that's when I start to, then that's when I'm going, okay, whatever I've been doing with the last 6 weeks has actually worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. So it's been fantastic. And I guess the thing for me, I also enjoy our one-on-one a lot more as well. I feel in a way it's like a therapy session in some way for me. It might be a joke, but it is. I feel in a way, I come to you with a problem, and sometimes it's not about technical, but more of a mind kind of problem. Trying to overcome certain obstacle.
Yeah.
And I think you're able to articulate, I mean, in a certain way that to help me to overcome those problems. Yeah, it is a therapy session, to be honest.
I'm not a trained therapist, by the way, just putting that out there. But I think you're right. Like, I think, well, firstly, it's really, really awesome to have some unexpected things happen. And particularly, I guess kind of if you were sort of, thinking about when you first sort of started engaging with us, and if you had been told that was going to happen, you probably wouldn't have believed me anyway, right?
Yeah. I totally agree. As I said before, like I've done so many online courses, and everyone out there, calling themselves experts and on LinkedIn, personal branding, business development, stuff like that. I even have a friend of mine who are expert in marketing, right? Who are telling me to do this, but I think, yeah, realistic, I think what set you apart, I think, your guidance and support, I think that's and then the framework is very solid. And it's easy for me, who's someone not very big in this space, very easy as well.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's really good. And I'd love to just hear, like, what's the impact in terms of your goals and hitting your goals for the year?
It's definitely a lot quicker than I anticipated. How would I put it in a financial way? Probably, do I say 300,000? But that is a significant revenue for us as a business, and it's a lot quicker than I anticipated as well. And it's sort of making us, like, I think 6 months ahead of what I budgeted for, forecasted for. So yeah, it's actually been really, really helpful. But I guess the thing that for me is more than just the financial part, the revenue part. It's about working with such a premium brand clients who sort of recognized our expertise to come in and help them to rescue such a critical program work over multi-years. So, that financial might be this next few months, but it is ongoing engagement that I think that's key for us though.
That's awesome. And what was that conversation like, I guess, from, having experience, like having conversations without having an online presence, to then, kind of having those sales conversations when someone's reached out to you from LinkedIn? Did you find that was a difference there in that conversation?
Definitely. Normally as someone who you haven't got any present or anyone know who you are at all, you have to sort of justify who you are. And I'm good at this, this is what I do, kind of thing. And I think by having that LinkedIn present, people know who you are already. And they see in your post, you've been validated, is probably the right word. And then that's really allowed the conversation moving away from selling, and more into that personal understanding of what is it, why do we need us, you need us, and how we can help you more. So yeah, I guess it's definitely changed how we go about doing our sales process.
Yeah, totally. I think it becomes more around just finding the match, right? And then when you get so many people reaching out to you, then you're in the position where you can pick and choose, and you can kind of, in a way, you're auditioning your clients instead of them, you feeling like you have to sell yourself to them. They actually have to sell themselves to you.
Correct. And it's really put you more in that authoritative role. Then instead, previously you become more like, oh, this is how good I am. And this is how you're going to do, this is what I can do for you. Whereas now they see you, they go, okay, I've seen what you have done. I've seen how you work. Okay, I'm happy with the way you work.
Yeah, Yeah, awesome. And I know you've been doing this, like obviously alongside your day-to-day business, you've got a team. Like, how have you sort of, started to grow and scale the business? And I'd love to kind of, talk around, team and how that fits in for you, because some people out there might be a team of one. Some people out there might, already have a really established team and anything in between. So tell me a little bit around, like, just for you personally, like how you go about as a business owner, like managing your time with doing all of the things, wearing all of the hats, and like bringing in team members at the right time. I'd love to just get your insights around what's really worked for you in that area.
So previously before engaging you, the marketing piece was very much, hey, more referral, mates conversations, and hey, finger crossed and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I guess now they're having a linking framework and a linking process. It makes it a lot easier. And I sort of, during our time together for the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's more me getting my hand dirty, understand what's it like and how it works, stuff like that. So I now have intimate understanding now of what is required to do a
Yeah.
proper marketing on LinkedIn. So what we have done is that we have engaged, I guess, a VA offshore to pick it up now, following the process you provided. And yeah, and I think that would sort of allow me to, remove myself away from the day to day of those kind of grind admin kind of thing I do, and then focus on what's in value for the business and then the client as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that without your framework, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's really, yes, it's obviously, yeah, it's you in the beginning as the founder and the, building the strategy and making sure it's authentic for you and your business and how you want to represent yourself, online, and what fits in with your world and other marketing channels you've got going on and all those sorts of things. And then, it's really about starting to hand off that process to someone else so it runs without you, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I guess this is where it comes down to, having that one-on-one with you sort of helped me to sort of ensure the process that we, implemented with our VA resources to, is correct and also tweak the need be as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I think the value lies. I think this, yeah, been really helpful.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you're only a few days in with your new team member, and you're like really sort of, onboarding and making sure that this is really embedded. And how have you found that experience so far? Like, talk me through a little bit around, what you're really excited about for the future when you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel now, Melvin, with this process.
Yeah, it's actually been really good. I have to be on board for this week only. She came with a lot of experience, which is great. Following your framework and your scripts and the procedures that you guide at the starting point, and we've massaged it to fit our business, make that whole onboarding really easy and then really, really quick as well. Even the VA themselves say, "Oh wow, this is the first time she's seen in her career where it's such a well structured, such a well scripted. Everything's really make her life a lot easier as well." So what I believe, by having that in place, it sort of accelerates the onboarding process a lot quicker and faster.
Yeah.
As well. So it's been really, really good. This is only the fourth day with her so far.
Yeah.
But she
Very
seems
early days.
yeah, she seems to get a whole of things really well. And we have a one-on-one catch up every day. And for her, it's not a question about the process. It's more of the nitty-gritty bit. Which is great. So I'm hoping next couple of weeks, she can go on her own kind of thing and run it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. And I'd love to hear like your vision for the future for your business. Like, now we've got some systems and processes in place around your marketing. You've got the team member in place now as well. Like, what are you really looking forward to? Like, let's just say that over the next 12 months, like, where do you want to take the business? What does that look like? What are you most excited about?
Definitely we are going to do some sort of present in Asia is one of the key things the next 6 to 12 months. That's probably my key strategy going forward the business.
Yeah.
In saying that, LinkedIn will definitely be one of the key platform that we to us to use as a business to move forward.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, because now I have a system and a framework that I can replicate and grow the business. Whereas before that is, Hail Mary kind of thing, let's wish for the best of luck kind of thing.
Yeah, or you're on LinkedIn, kind of dodge other people pitching you, and it's kind of weird and awkward and
yeah, and the thing that you that I always appreciate about your framework was definitely it's not about pushing, selling is what we do kind of thing. It's very gentle engagement with our clients and really helping us just to, to get the right audience as well. And then also just the right clients. I think it's really nice to do that kind of message scripting.
Yeah, definitely. We're like the anti cold pitch approach on LinkedIn for sure. It doesn't work anymore. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Right. So really heading into Asia, exploring different markets and growing your LinkedIn now with the right kinds of people, and having the team in place so that you can really pay attention to the client work you love doing and the projects, and really making an impact for your clients in a big way, and running this new $40 million project is pretty cool. So that'll be a good project to be getting your hands onto as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And this is, I'm actually quite, enthusiastic about, extremely looking forward to the next 6 to 12 months to see what else can happen within this space as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'd love to hear, like, if there's anyone that's, listening to this either, on their own business journey, and perhaps they were, kind of at that stage where they've just been relying on referrals for a little while, and they're just really looking to start to get a little bit more sophisticated with their marketing and look at channels like LinkedIn. What would be sort of your advice to them now that you've sort of done it and come out the other side?
I'm actually, as mentioned before, there's a lot of so-called expert online. And I tried a couple of them before.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple of things. I do believe, first of all, LinkedIn is the right platform for B2B business. But it's important to know that you need the right guidance as well, and for the right framework. I've seen a lot of others who using LinkedIn, but as mentioned before, the message and the way they do things is actually very pushy, and I find it really, off-putting is the right word.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with your framework and your guide and stuff like that, I guess it make a huge difference. It's more about connecting with the human side of business, instead of a transactional side, and I think that's where the value truly, I think, that you bring there. What I find incredible effective is also the fact that I think our one-on-one. I find that one-on-one is a really valuable, and I think it's where the difference that lies as well, is that where, you actually put in practice what you've been taught in a way, and follow the framework, and you can test it in real time. Yeah. And then at the same time, you go back to you and say, hey, I've done this. It's not really working. What do you think? How I can improve the process of my business? And I think that's really valuable. And I, as mentioned before, you keep a lot of golden nugget ideas, and you have, every time you answer things, it really makes sense. And I think that really helped someone like myself and other business looking to link in the framework, is that nurturing part, that helping part is really, really important. Because you can do a LinkedIn course, but without the right framework, without the great guidance, it's going to be it's pointless.
Yeah. And how long do you think it would have taken you perhaps to just go out there and try and figure it out on your own, Melvin? Do you have an idea?
Oh, I've been trying to do it for years.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest. I've been trying to do it for years. It's truly testament to you. For me to get that program with that value within just 6 weeks is something I would not have anticipated. And now, when I go out dinner with a friend of mine and my network, stuff like that, they go, hey, Melvin, I noticed you post a lot on LinkedIn. I say, yeah. And I expect you to like it as well. Yeah. And I said, and I said, but your content is really good. I really like it. It's very, personal, very relatable. I said, yeah, even better. So when I start to have my friends and my personal professional network start noticing that I'm having a lot more present on LinkedIn, and a very positive comment and feedback from them to me, probably, and reassuring that what I'm doing is actually right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I've personally just loved watching your growth journey. And I think one of the things that you do really well, Melvin, is you are willing to be uncomfortable in the moment just to get out there and try it. And then it becomes a little bit more comfortable as you go. And I think, that's a testament to you just applying what you've learned and doing it and doing the work. So, I think it's been absolutely awesome to work with you. And I'm not surprised by your results, because I think you've really, the system works and you've worked the system.
Yeah, no, thanks. I mean, to me, as I mentioned, I couldn't have done it without your kind of guidance and support, and I wasn't joking about our sort of weekly therapy sessions. It's not therapy, but I think it's more of a, your incredible value every week I have with you. That's in that moment where you start to guide me certain things. I think, as mentioned in the beginning, as a business owner, there's, that kind of unknown things that you start
Mm-hmm.
to doubt yourself,
Mm-hmm.
especially new things like a LinkedIn, all the systems, stuff like that. I think having that kind of guidance and nurturing part, I think that's where the difference lies.
Yeah, yeah. It's just as much around, the mindset to apply the strategy, as much as it is to, knowing the steps of what to do. It's actually, making sure that you're in the right frame of mind to go ahead and execute and do it properly.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time in sharing your journey, Melvin. I think it's there's really big things to come for you. And for anyone that is listening to this that, wants to get in touch with Melvin and learn more about the work that he's doing, Melvin, where can they reach out to you?
Probably I recommend LinkedIn.
Good answer. It's a total trick question.
I know that one. But yeah, just got my LinkedIn though, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, put a link into the way to message me and get on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, go and connect on LinkedIn with Melvin, and yeah, thanks so much for sharing your story, Melvin. I think it's really inspiring for others to, you can be as skeptical as ever, and it still works.
Yeah, sure does. I mean, thank you again.
You're welcome.